Owsley has a very special place in the Festival of Faiths. His mother is the founder and supporter of this event, which has become a Louisville institution over the course of its 18-year history. That this is true is due also to the efforts and leadership of his late father, Owsley Brown II, as well as his mother. The Festival of Faiths is a part of Owsley's inheritance as the son of Owsley and Christie. We know that his life has been enriched by this inheritance because from it, he has been paying dividends to this community through his amazing leadership, vision, and commitment. Owsley chaired the Festival of Faiths, presented in May of this year, which was designated by Mayor Fisher to be a lead-in to the visit of His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. Given the purpose, the mandate was for an outstanding festival. And Owsley understood this well. It is no exaggeration to say that the celebration of sacred silence as a pathway to compassion was a transforming event for the city of Louisville. Our city, committed by our mayor in 2011 to compassion, had the opportunity to derive inspiration from religious leaders and scholars throughout the world in the practice of sacred silence as a condition of experiencing our true selves, which are our compassionate selves. This transforming experience was the gift of Owsley's leadership. I would describe this leadership as a blend of intelligence, wisdom, resourcefulness, boundless energy, and a power of persuasion second only to that of his mother, to whom no one can say no. I am happy to say that Owsley has great plans for 2014 and 2015 as well, so we have much to look forward to at the Festival of Faiths. Even though I cannot begin to do justice to Owsley's other interests and accomplishments, I would feel remiss if I did not mention a few. He has produced organic wine and award-winning documentaries, one of which features the Louisville Orchestra as a building block of this city. His philanthropic activities are numerous and are intended to raise the quality of life in Louisville and elsewhere. Our city, our nation, indeed our globe, benefit from Owsley Brown's leadership and generosity. Let us extend to him our warmest welcome.
Well, that is the most unbelievable introduction I will ever receive. I don't know quite what to say except to start by expressing the great honor I feel to be able to stand before such a distinguished and inspiring audience and to be speaking on behalf of an organization that as a volunteer I feel great loyalty towards, great affection for, and great admiration of all who have, on whose shoulders I and we as part of CIR stand. And I think I just want to use this opportunity, which will be brief, to express my enthusiasm for our future and to tell you that I feel wildly optimistic about the days ahead. I think as a brilliant leader who cares deeply about this territory, a friend of mine from San Francisco, Lynn Twist, who founded something called the Pachamama Alliance and wrote a book called The Soul of Money, said, and I'll do my best to imitate her, she's famous for her enthusiasm, "It's the most exciting time ever to be alive in human history." And, you know, it's just true if you think about it. we have been given this extraordinary moment from which to lead all life, really, into this future that hopefully can be more extraordinary and more profound than any time that life on earth has ever been. And in a sense, we have no choice. We don't have any choice. We're really, as today's extraordinary presenters have made clear, we're really in the situation where we just have no choice but to go for it. And so the question is, what is it? What is it? That is a very interesting question. I suppose all of us might have quick answers that come to mind about what it is. But when I pause, the it becomes a little bit harder to define. And I think that's a good thing. We were speaking at my table earlier about the Catholic liturgy that I grew up as a part of. It felt like the Catholic liturgy was a part of me, so I guess it's okay to say that I was a part of it. Where I would say that the thing that has stuck with me most from a church-going life that was very diligent, we never missed church, not one Sunday. It didn't matter where we were in the world, we always got to a Mass somewhere. And the thing now that I think back on that was the most profound aspect, probably, of what those liturgies offered me Sunday after Sunday is just this one little word, which is mystery. So, as the it, meaning what is it that we're going for, relates to the word mystery, I think there's something maybe to talk about just for a second. The thing about a mystery is, the minute you solve it, it's no longer a mystery. So, if the liturgy is trying to offer us some sacred truth, which surely it is, then what it's actually asking us to do is a rather interesting thing, which is to hold somehow in our hearts and minds an unsolvable thing and essentially be one with it, which in a certain way means to love it. And it seems to me the only way to love anything is to be open to it. So that means that we have to be open to something that, frankly, we have spent the better part of, well, a good long while doing our best to get away from. Because to be open to a mystery means you don't have all the answers, means you don't know exactly what tomorrow will bring, means you don't really know where this is all going. And then what? Then what are you to do? Well, it turns out there are those that have thought about this, and they've given it quite a lot of thought. And what they might suggest, and there's a big group of they, and they come from every culture, every religious tradition, every spiritual aspiration, they all sort of say the same thing. They say basically you just need to be with it. So that means, I guess, we're supposed to be with an open, loving response to a mystery. Now, what's interesting about that is that actually is a doable thing. It's something you can actually do. And it's something you can practice doing. And it's something, if you practice doing, you can get better at doing. Now, I would qualify getting better in this case as meaning more comfortable with doing. Or to use language in this case, to become more at ease with doing. So it's funny, I just can't help but tell a Wendell Berry story, especially on a stage like this. It's too good of an opportunity to pass up. So actually, back to Lynn Twist in her living room maybe 10 years ago in San Francisco, there was a moment not unlike this. Wendell was before you all as I am, and the audience was kind of sitting quietly after one of Wendell's slightly sobering and somewhat gloomy remarks about the state of affairs in the world. And there was a big pause, and someone, kind of sheepishly raised their hand and said, well, Wendell, what should we do? And Wendell just paused, as Wendell does sometimes. He pauses. He says, well, first thing is, we need to remain very calm in the face of an emergency. I'll come back to that in a second. But then he said, second thing is, seems to me we need to get all the saves together. Like save the rainforest, save the wolves, save the whales. Seems like there's a whole lot of saving going on, but not a lot being saved. And I think that's a very important point. So how do we get all the saves together? So back to staying calm in the face of an emergency and being open in a loving way to the mystery and the value of practicing how to be open and loving in the face of a mystery. I think it has to do with what we've got to go for is being at ease. Because when you're at ease, I think it's easier to be open and loving to things like a mystery, and certainly easier to be open to each other and differing points of view. And as was said earlier to me very profoundly, and to be open to our enemies, both real and imagined. And to recognize that that's our job, actually. That's actually job number one for humankind. It's only ever been our number one job. It's just we forget about that. And fair enough, there have been a lot of distractions along the way. Past 500 years haven't been all that easy. If you think about sort of altruistic orientations, we kind of gone the other way. Left turn at Albuquerque, should have gone right. It's all right. We could get back right now, actually. Because the thing about being open to the mystery with love is you can get back to it right now. So it would be our honor, and we've kind of self-appointed anyway, so hopefully you won't mind, but it would be our honor at the Center for Interfaith Relations to be your partner on this journey of being open to the mystery with love. We really want to do that. I think the most powerful thing in the world that I can think of today is intention. And you should know that is our intention, is to be your partner. And we promise we will work tirelessly on behalf of that. And I'll just conclude by defining what I think that constitutes. That constitutes the beginning of a dream. I was having my daughter goes to school with a young man, and they have breakfast every morning. The young man comes and has breakfast every morning with us, and they're looking off to their future as they're both getting ready to go off to college. They're both in 12th grade, and it dawned upon me last week or week before that this young man and my daughter too were both very anxious about the future. And not, I should add, because of what we're talking about. This part, actually, they're wildly not anxious about. Meaning what we're talking about, they're ready to handle. So it's up to us how much we want to meet them and their enthusiasm and their readiness. But that's actually not quite the story I wanted to tell. That's an aside. The story I wanted to tell was I found myself in an effort to try to offer them something on a slightly nervous morning with midterm exams and college applications and all this, frankly, bunch of nonsense that they're having to be burdened with in many ways. And I said, so, it just kind of came out. I said, so, whose dream are you living in anyway? And as soon as I said that, I thought, now, how in the heck did I say that? What am I talking about? But it really struck me as one of those sort of like, boy, I'm glad I said that, because it was a question for myself. And then I said, without even thinking about it, I said, because remember, you sure as heck don't want to live in somebody else's dream. And as far as your own dream is concerned, make sure you dream big. So that's all I've got to say. Let's make sure we dream big together. Thank you all so very much.